Welcome back to another episode of the Whip Report. This is Quantum Quasar reporting in from the Starmade Shattered Skies Hardcore Survival server. And today we're going to start with something a little bit smaller. I spoke of this briefly in another episode. This is the starting to be modified version of the Interceptor that Prosper left us. So you can see I've taken apart a few pieces here and shortened it up and turned it into a bit of a scout. I'm not entirely sure what all I want to stuff in this thing, but I really like the look of it as just a small, really tiny unit, and maybe even like a mobile AMS platform sort of thing. And I want to take this and kind of finish doling it up and making it pretty sharp. So I figured we'd start there and just get a feel for the fleet as it grows. And speaking of the fleet growing, and get a nice little group shot here and show off the cruiser, the fighter, and the bomber. And I replaced the larger ship that I was working on. I didn't really like it all that much. And now we have this. This is my current gunship frigate that I'm working on. The work in progress title is the Hydrazine. Still a little bit blocky at the moment, rather smooth. I do actually plan on adding some turrets to this, so I don't know how much detail I'm going to add to some of the smoother portions. But this is a much larger frigate. You can see here, we'll pan out and give a little bit better view for all of the units in the family so far. So there we go. You can see now the scale of this guy. I think he comes in right about 160 long-ish, by 100 and I think about 135 wide. Still pretty thin though, and in fact only these round portions here, these hoops, is the only thing that really kicks the height up over. I think the height was about 33, I want to say. Just it was at the very end of having a 1.3 turn radius in the y-axis, but those hoops have kicked it up some. I wanted to give it a little bit of depth from the side, and you can see here I'm going to throw 3 large cannons of some capacity on here. I'm not entirely sure. Probably going to be some form of either probably ion and maybe something else in there. So yeah, that's the progress thus far. I've been working on it most of today. I had an extra day off, but with the HP update out, I have been trying to figure out. This is definitely going to be advanced hull, but I have also been positioning a few pieces, thickening certain areas and leaving certain areas a little bit more open. One of those more open areas is going to be the inside of the main dome, where I'm definitely going to have a couple of anti-astronaut turrets. I doubt I'll use all of the space, because I like having these domes filled with, running power lines through them. And I may even leave some of this room, and even, in fact, some of this area might be open for interiors. So you can see that's kind of this area here and that side sphere. So far, it's been a really fun build, playing around with changing the shape on the dome. I may cut this top portion down into it just to smooth it out instead of having it look like a giant cap on it. But I do like the little extra armor plates on the dome. That was pretty fun to go through, and I really love this triple cannon and the modified, changing from the hammerhead to this more sleek side. I don't 100% like it running all the way down the back. I was thinking about, in fact, in the earlier build, it was like having 2 hammerheads, one on either side. But I had to wedge some engines in there and just slapping them on. They still look kind of slapped on, and you can see part of that angled hammerhead still in there temporarily because I wasn't 100% sold on the shape. And I'm getting closer to that, being more locked in. It's just going to take me some time to go in and remove some of these pieces. And you can see all kinds of support and trusts and things like that. Just want to show off the fact that these are real works in progress. I know I don't speed build these things, but like I said, this guy's got about 8 hours in it, 8 or 9 hours in it so far. And that's really difficult to record as a speed build. And there's a lot of boring bits where I spend plenty of time just flying around, figuring out where I'm going to place my next block, and then like a sniper, I place 1 or 2 blocks and then fly around for a while. Or I cut out one area, make one square or something like that. But I'm going to load it up with a ton of AMS, and these points right here on the top and bottom are open for some decent turrets. So probably additional cannon turrets. I want it to be a gunboat of sorts, and work as a cannon frigate. So I'm kind of liking specializing my ships, and I've been having a lot of success with that so far. And if anything else, I just like theming things and seeing how they work together. And who knows if this will ever end up as a fleet. I haven't made my fleet deployment carrier yet, because this frigate is actually going to be 4-player use. I may even release it on the docks, because I want to be able to fight some of the bigger pirates, and that's going to be coming here in just a couple of days. Well, a couple of days my time. There's going to be a server upgrade, and new pirates are going to get released onto the server. So I may actually do some battle recordings then, and you guys can see me either succeed or fail. But to finish off the rest of the whip report, good gravy. Thinking I need a better name. This is the progress on the Pyrochlore, and not a whole lot, just switching over gray armor to white, or gray hull to white hull rather, and there's still a lot of little bits. You can see that I'm missing pieces here and there. I had to make some extra hull a couple of times to round out. And adding some of the black striping. I'm thinking about going with green for this one, since orange seems to be combat oriented. I think green team's a good team for salvaging and away operations. So that's coming in pretty well. It's very bright at the moment, being all white. I have done a little bit of work on the engines. I do mean to transfer those over to black probably, and maybe gray around the outside, gray or black on the outside area for the housing. Some additional details on the back. I finished up some of the housings there. Still have some work to go with greebling. I need to get some of these areas a little bit less flat. But I can't dig in too much because there are quite a few systems on the inside. This ship is definitely packed to the brim. Whoa, I did not realize how bright that hallway was now that it's all white. Okay, so definitely toning down the hallway. Probably back to gray. But I just wanted to show off that I'm cutting out this this back area here. I may do a little bit of interior back here in the back. As you can see, this is definitely chock full. Has 0 interior. I wouldn't mind an AMS turret, or an anti-astronaut turret, an AA turret, ha ha ha. Kind of in the middle of this hallway, and then maybe some interior in there. So that is that for now. I think that's about all the works in progress that I've done. I did have that other, like I said, that other larger frigate that I was working on was scrapped. It was kind of being guided toward a replacement for the Catalyst, but I really do just need to stick with building ships in order, and maybe even I may even go back and fill in some missing sizes. I do think that this frigate here, the Hydrazine, is a smaller frigate for, in comparison. It's maybe either a heavy cruiser or a small frigate, light frigate. But I definitely like keeping things in line and keeping with the theme and working on the theme. I'm almost half tempted to scrap the carrier, just because I can do a few things a little bit better now that I'm getting these pieces out. But I'm not going to scrap it yet. I'm going to keep it there for now and learn more as I work my way up. I think that really is the right way. For me anyway, it's the right way to do it. Each build I do, I learn something new, some new facet or technique or style, and I'm getting faster at a lot of these things too. This ship would have taken me twice as long. In fact, it's already come a lot further than the Carbonite did in the same amount of time. So I'm getting more comfortable with the build style and with how things are working out, and I want to start doing getting back and doing interiors, because I haven't done interiors since my last capital ship build, really. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm going to keep those hoops in place. I do want to have some kind of connection arching from the back of the cannons to the back of the ship. It won't be a solid like plate. Instead, I was going to do maybe some kind of tube or something fancy. I just wanted something to give me a rough idea and some maximum build dimensions as well. So I think that's just about it for this episode. And I appreciate everybody who comes out and watches these and checks me out. It serves good and makes me feel a little better about putting some stuff out here on the YouTubes. But anywho, that said, everybody out there just keep on pushing on and keep on flying.